Park Sun-hwa spent her entire life working as a seamstress in garment factories and doing hand sewing at home to save money for a small villa. After her husband died early, she raised 2 children alone. She always felt sorry for not being able to send her daughter Ji-young to university instead of her son. But Ji-young started a business and became independent early, caring for her mother instead. In contrast, her son Park Min-ho moved into his mother's house with his wife and son after marriage. Sun-hwa considered it her natural duty to care for her grandson and live with them. However, as time passed, the house gradually stopped being her space. Her son and daughter-in-law openly disrespected her, and the living room became filled entirely with her daughter-in-law's belongings. Sun-hwa first saw this villa 50 years ago. At 42, she had just lost her husband in a sudden traffic accident and was raising 2 children alone. While moving from rental to rental, she happened to see a listing for this small villa. Though it was only about 20 pyong in size, it seemed like a dream space to Sun-hwa. When Sun-hwa cautiously asked about the price, the real estate agent looked her up and down and replied, "This house is quite expensive. It might be too much for you to handle." But Sun-hwa didn't give up. "Please, just let me look around once." While touring the house, Sun-hwa's heart raced. Though old and narrow, it seemed like it could become a real home where she could live with her children. That night, Sun-hwa couldn't sleep. Her calculations showed the money she had was far from enough. But she didn't want to give up on what seemed impossible. Sun-hwa's struggle began the next day. She worked at the garment factory during the day and did hand sewing at home at night. She worked weekends without rest. When her children asked, "Mom, why don't you buy us delicious food?" she consoled them, saying, "When we get our own house, I'll cook lots of delicious things for you." Winter was especially difficult. To save even one briquette, she wore thick clothes while sewing. Sometimes her hands were so frozen she couldn't hold the needle properly. During such times, Sun-hwa endured by imagining the day when she would live with her children in their warm home. Min-ho was in middle school and Ji-young in upper elementary school. Both children knew how hard their mother worked. Min-ho occasionally offered, "Mom, should I get a part-time job to help?" But Sun-hwa waved him off, saying, "You just focus on your studies." Ji-young took care of all household chores despite her young age, cooking rice, doing laundry, and even managing Min-ho's school supplies. After 3 years of struggle, Sun-hwa finally saved the target amount. That night, she called her children together. "Min-ho, Ji-young, we finally have our real home." The children looked at their mother with disbelief. "Really?" Ji-young asked. "Really. Now we don't have to live watching others' faces." The day she bought the house, Sun-hwa cried for the first time as she left the registry office. All the emotions she had suppressed burst out at once. "Honey, we got our house. How wonderful it would have been if you were alive." Sun-hwa spoke to herself while looking at the sky. Moving day was one of the happiest days of Sun-hwa's life. Their belongings were just a few old pieces of furniture and clothes. But everything was precious. The sewing machine was especially important to Sun-hwa, because the money earned with it had bought this house. Min-ho and Ji-young loved having their own rooms. Though small, compared to sharing one room in rental houses, it felt like a palace. Sun-hwa took the small master bedroom. But in reality, she shared that space with her children too. Their clothes hung in Sun-hwa's closet, and they came to her room whenever they had questions about homework. The living room was a precious space for the whole family. After dinner, Sun-hwa would sew at the small living room table, while the children did homework lying on the floor. They had a television but only turned it on when necessary to save electricity. Instead, they spent much time talking as a family. Sun-hwa continued working to maintain this house. Buying the house didn't suddenly improve their life. Maintenance fees, taxes, and repair costs were needed to keep the house. But Sun Hwa didn't complain. She was happy just living in her own house, not someone else's. When Minho entered high school, Sun Hwa harbored a new dream of sending her son to university. At that time, university was accessible only to some people, especially difficult for poor families like Sun Hwa's. But she didn't give up, working even harder. With the determination to send my son to university. She always felt sorry about Ji Young. The social atmosphere then naturally prioritized son's education over daughter's. Sun Hwa wasn't free from such prejudice either. Whenever Ji Young said, "I want to go to high school," too, Sun Hwa's heart ached. "Ji Young, I'm sorry. If I have the means, I'll let you study too." But realistically, it was impossible. Ji Young understood her mother's situation. At 16, she started earning money herself, first working part-time at a neighborhood supermarket. Then starting small business at the market. Remarkably, Ji Young showed great business acumen, getting along well with customers and calculating money quickly. Soon she began earning decent income. "Mom, I'll contribute money to the house too." Whenever Ji Young gave part of her earnings to Sun Hwa, tears formed in Sun Hwa's eyes. When did our Ji Young grow up so much? But she felt deep guilt toward her daughter, who was earning money like an adult when she should have been playing with friends at school. Fortunately, Minho studied well and was an honor student recognized at school. Sun Hwa couldn't hide her pride whenever she saw her son's report card. Minho also studied hard not to disappoint his mother's expectations, though sometimes he wanted to play freely like his friends. Finally, Minho was accepted to university. Though not a prestigious Seoul university, it was a decent regional university. Sun Hwa was overjoyed. "The first university student from our family." Neighbors congratulated her too. But the joy was brief as tuition and living expenses became obstacles. Sun Hwa's savings weren't enough, forcing her to take a loan with the house as collateral. She hesitated, fearing to use the house she had worked so hard to obtain. But she was prepared to take any risk for her son's future. For Min Ho's entire university life, Sun Hwa became even busier, working at the factory during the day, sewing at home at night, and even cleaning other houses on weekends. Ji Young contributed a significant portion of her business earnings to household expenses. After 4 years, Minho graduated and got a job at a decent company. Sun Hwa finally breathed a sigh of relief. With his first salary, Minho expressed gratitude to his mother and sister, promising to repay them. However, Minho's filial devotion didn't last long. As he became accustomed to company life and socialized with colleagues, his visits home decreased. Sun Hwa understood but felt hurt inside. Minho then met Kim So-young, a colleague at his company. When he brought her home, Sun Hwa welcomed her as a potential daughter-in-law. But So-young's first impression wasn't good. She wore expensive clothes and spoke somewhat arrogantly. So-young's formal greeting and disinterested expression at Sun Hwa's carefully prepared dinner table made it clear she looked down on the modest home. Despite Min Ho's embarrassment, they left early to eat out. Several months later, Min Ho and So-young announced their engagement. During wedding preparations, So-young maintained her demanding attitude, insisting on a hotel wedding despite the financial burden on Sun Hwa, who had to take another loan against the house. After their honeymoon, the newlyweds asked to move in with Sun Hwa to save on deposit money. Though reluctant about the cramped space, Sun Hwa couldn't refuse her son's request. Once Min Ho and So-young moved in, Sun Hwa's life completely changed. The living room gradually filled with So-young's expensive belongings, and Sun Hwa's old sofa was replaced because it was too old. The kitchen underwent similar changes as Sun Hwa's decades-old dishes and cookware disappeared, replaced by So Young's modern alternatives. Most significantly, Sun Hwa's position in her own home changed. She became like a guest rather than the owner. When she tried to sew in the living room, So Young complained it made the space messy, forcing Sun Hwa to work only in her bedroom. Menu planning became So Young's domain, though she often made Sun Hwa do the actual cooking while maintaining decision-making control. Min-ho either didn't notice or sided with his wife, asking his mother to help with housework since So Young worked at a company. When grandson Jun Seo was born a year later, Sun Hwa was happy but soon found herself bearing most childcare responsibilities. So Young treated Sun Hwa's help as a given rather than expressing gratitude, calling for assistance throughout the day, and leaving night duties to her elderly mother-in-law. So Young also criticized Sun Hwa's childcare methods, dismissing her experience of successfully raising 2 children. Even when Ji Young visited to see her nephew, So Young would leave the baby with her and go out. Though Sun Hwa endured for family peace, she gradually felt like an outsider in her own home. The living room became So Young's domain. The kitchen reflected So Young's preferences, and even Sun Hwa's beloved. Plants were banished to the balcony as messy. Over time, though she sacrificed her life for the house, it now seemed to belong to her son and daughter-in-law. Still, thinking it was her duty to live with family, Pension Day was always special for Sun Hwa. Though modest, the money warmed her heart with possibilities. This month, she planned to help with grandson Jun-ho's academy fees after hearing about the expense from Min-ho. I should withdraw savings for Jun-ho's academy fees, Sun Hwa muttered, examining her bankbook. Years of careful saving, but she felt happy it finally had proper purpose. That afternoon, Sun Hwa told daughter-in-law, Sun Mi, about withdrawing money from the bank. Sun Mi emerged from the kitchen, still wearing her apron. What's wrong, mother? Sun Mi asked politely. Jun-ho's academy fees. Min-ho mentioned they're expensive, so I'll help with savings. Sun Mi looked flustered, then shook her head. Mother, you shouldn't. It's your money. We'll manage ourselves. It's fine. What's difficult about paying grandson's fees? Really okay, mother. Min-ho gets bonus soon, and I'm seeking another part-time job. Sun Mi continued declining politely. Outwardly, it seemed dutiful reluctance to spend mother-in-law's money carelessly. Sun Hwa understood independence wasn't bad for young couples. However, that night Sun Hwa's thoughts completely changed. Around 11 p.m., unable to sleep, she went for water. Returning from kitchen, she heard conversation from Min-ho and Sun Mi's room. Though initially trying to ignore it, she stopped when hearing her name. Accept mother's money? Are you crazy? Min-ho's voice. I'm not saying accept it, but look at mother's situation. She's weak. Managing this big house alone is difficult. Sun Mi's calm voice revealed clear intention. So? Sell that house, pay debts. Perfect. We get new house, mother gets small office-tel. Easier for mother to manage, we become independent. Sun Hwa held her breath by the door. Heart pounding, legs weakening. But mother cherishes that house. When Min-ho hesitated, Sun Mi persuaded more actively. Exactly why we should move her somewhere better. Current house is old, dangerous stairs. New office-tel has elevator, lower maintenance. My friend's husband sold mother-in-law's house for investment. Much better house now. Mother-in-law upset initially, but satisfied now. Min-ho stayed quiet. Sun Hwa felt suffocated. Her lifelong home filled with husband's memories reduced to mere real estate was shocking. Think about our debt amount. Rather than living stressed, sell mother's house, settle cleanly. Fresh start for us. Eventually Min-ho agreed to consider it. Sun Hwa returned to her room, unable to sleep. The conversation spun in her head. My friend's husband sold his mother-in-law's house. Particularly pierced her heart. Had she become just another disposable property owner to her children? Days passed. Sun Hua observed changed attitudes. Though outwardly polite, something felt different. Sun Mi surveyed the house. With inspecting eyes, commenting on old wallpaper and furniture needing replacement. Then came the decisive moment. Jun Ho returned from school excitedly. Grandma, Mom says if we sell your house, we'll go overseas together. To the child, just exciting travel news. To Sun Hua, like lightning strike. Mom said your house is too big. Sell it, you move to smaller house, we get new house. Remaining money for family trips and new academies for me. Jun Ho continued excitedly about Japan trips. While each word stabbed Sun Hua's heart. Specific plans existed without her knowledge. At dinner, Sun Hua stayed unusually quiet. When Minho asked about her health, she answered briefly. Sun Mi mentioned rising neighborhood house. Prices neutral words with clear intention. That afternoon, Sun Hua toured her house alone. In Minho's old room, childhood items remained awards, photos, uniforms. This child once loved this house too, she thought. Now it was merely disposal target. When Jun Ho returned from academy, he hugged her excitedly, having told friends about their trip. His innocent question about moving dates left Sun Hua speechless. Jun Ho, Grandma loves this house. But Mom says new house is better elevator, convenient for Grandma. Even the child reflected adult's logic. Sun Hua smiled sadly. That night, Sun Hua decided. No more silence. She must express her will clearly, even risking family relationships. Time had come to show the value of what she'd protected and assert her own will. Under unusually bright moonlight, she thought of her husband. What would he have done? Probably not confronted directly, but clearly expressed his opinion. I'll talk tomorrow, Sun Hua resolved. No longer avoidable, she must defend her life and emotions. That night Sun Hua couldn't sleep again. Staring at the ceiling, the knot in her chest hardened. Past 3 a.m., 4 a.m., sleep wouldn't come. Countless thoughts swirled. Have I become useless? Do my children see me that way? Is this house not mine? After 5 a.m., Sun Hua rose. She couldn't bear this suffocating feeling alone anymore. She needed advice from someone. Sun Hua had known Kim Mal-soon for over 50 years. 2 years older but still. Sharp-minded and straightforward, Mal-soon never spared honest advice. At 9 a.m., Sun Hua called. Mal-soon, it's Sun Hua. Could we meet? I need to talk. Mal-soon immediately noticed her unusual tone. What happened? Your voice sounds strange. Can't say over phone. I'll explain when we meet. At Mal-soon's house, Sun Hua explained everything, offering grandson's academy fees. Overhearing Minho and Sun Mi's conversation. Jun Ho's innocent words about selling the house. Her voice trembled throughout. How do you feel? Mal-soon asked quietly. Betrayed. I devoted my life for children, yet receive this treatment? Sun Hua finally cried. Mal-soon held her hand firmly. Sun Hua, your house was built with your blood and sweat. Even children have no right to steal your life. You've sacrificed enough, now protect yourself. But I'm old and powerless. Being old doesn't mean abandoning rights. If you give up, nobody will protect you. Mal-soon shared her experience. My daughter once demanded my savings for moving costs. After giving it, she kept requesting more. I firmly refused. She sulked initially but eventually understood, now calls me smart mother. But I don't know what to do. Just opposing won't work. You need strategy. Know what they want most. For you to obediently surrender the house. If you suddenly oppose, they'll pressure you with excuses. Then what should I do? Buy time. Let them continue planning while you prepare countermeasures. Get legal consultation, learn your rights. Then reveal everything at the end. How do I endure meanwhile? Act like you're aging with declining judgment. Occasionally forget things, appear confused. They'll become careless. After 2 hours, Sun Hua returned home with lighter heart. From that afternoon, Sun Hua implemented Mal Sun's advice. She acted slower, walked unsteadily, occasionally said, "Huh?" pretending to forget things. "Mother, are you okay?" Sun Mi asked worriedly. "Just. Memory getting fuzzy lately." Though Sun Mi seemed comforting, Sun Hua read expectation in her eyes, hoping for dementia symptoms. Sun Hua continued this act for days. Repeating words, forgetting tasks, even mistaking Jun Ho's name. Minho and Sun Mi began seriously considering her dementia possibility. "Mother seems very strange lately," Minho told Sun Mi one night. "Should we hurry our plans? Dementia progression could complicate things legally." Sun Hua smiled bitterly inside. Her acting was effective. After a week, Sun Hua executed the next phase. She withdrew 5 million won and gave it to them for vacation. "Go on a trip. You suffer because of me." Though initially declining, they accepted happily. "Thank you, mother." Watching their easy acceptance, Sun Hua felt bitter despite their joy. That night she called Mal Sun. First phase succeeded. Good. Now while they travel, do your work: legal consultation, evidence collection. The next day, Sun Hua visited the lawyer Mal Sun arranged. "If house is solely under your name, even children cannot sell it carelessly," the young female lawyer explained. "But record all conversations could help later." Sun Hua bought a notebook and recorded everything: conversations about selling house, Jun Ho's travel story. Giving 5 million won, all with dates and times. When Minho and Sun Mi returned from Busan, they were brighter. "Busan was wonderful. Would have been nice if mother came too," Minho said. "I'm too old for travel now." Sun Hua continued, acting weak. Days later, she discovered Sun Mi reading real estate books and Minho searching house prices online. Now they're really starting, Sun Hua thought. But she wasn't afraid anymore. She felt confident, knowing she had weapons too. That night, Sun Hua wrote in her notebook, "From today, real war begins. But I'm prepared too. I'll protect my house myself." According to Mal Sun's schedule confirmed the previous night, serious work would begin today. She needed to meet with real estate agent and legal advisor. Sun Hua, ready? Mal Sun appeared at Sun Hua's house at exactly 9 a.m. "Yes, I'm ready." Sun Hua came out with important documents in her bag. Nervous? A little. But there's no turning back now. They first visited the real estate office. Manager Kim was an experienced-looking man in his mid-50s. "Ma'am, house prices in this neighborhood have risen significantly. Your house especially has excellent location." Manager Kim showed neighborhood price charts while explaining. "How much could I get?" "At least 2.2 billion won, possibly 2.3 billion if things go well." Sun Hua couldn't help being surprised at that amount. She never imagined the small house she'd secured with her husband in youth would become such big money. "Is there urgent reason you're selling?" Sun Hua hesitated briefly before answering. "My health isn't good, so managing became difficult. I want to move somewhere smaller." "I see. So you'll contract immediately when buyer appears?" "Yes, that's right." Manager Kim immediately began registering the property. Sun Hua realized she'd entered a path of no return. "I'll contact you within day or two. Houses in this neighborhood sell well." After leaving real estate office, they headed to legal advisor's office. The advisor explained contract, writing and ownership transfer procedures in detail. Ownership transfer completes about week after receiving deposit. "Do your family members know?" "I'll inform them later." The advisor looked slightly puzzled but didn't ask further. During lunch, Mal soon asked, "Really okay? It's not too late if you change your mind." "No, I've decided. I'll determine my own life." That afternoon, Sun Hua slowly toured her house alone. She tried to engrave memories soaked in each room, each corner. The hallway she'd walked with her husband, living room where children's laughter echoed, master bedroom where she'd cried alone. "Sorry, honey, but this seems the best way," Sun Hua murmured, looking at her husband's photo. Next morning, manager Kim called. "Ma'am, someone's already interested. They want to see house today, is that okay?" "Yes, that's fine." At 2 p.m., young couple came to view house. They seemed like newlyweds and were satisfied throughout the viewing. "Really nice house," the husband said. "Yes, well maintained too," the wife agreed. "How about the price?" Manager Kim asked. 2.3 billion seems reasonable. We'll contract immediately." Sun Hua felt complex emotions hearing their words. She felt both happy and wistful that others liked the house. She'd protected her entire life. "Will you come tomorrow to write contract?" Manager Kim confirmed. "Yes, we'll do that." After they left, Sun Hua called Mal Soon. "Mal Soon, it sold." "Already? That was fast. For 2.3 billion. Wow, prices really rose." That night Sun Hua toured her house once more. Tomorrow it would no longer be her home. Next afternoon, contract was completed. She received 230 million won deposit, with remaining payment and ownership transfer scheduled for 1 week later. "Congratulations," manager Kim said. But Sun Hua didn't feel like celebrating. Rather, she felt emptiness, as if something was lost. During that week, Sun Hua busily prepared for moving. With Mal Soon's help, she found new apartment, small 2-room apartment in Gangnam Gu for about 400 million won. "This is sufficient for living alone," Mal Soon said. "Yes, easy to manage too." New apartment had elevator and management office for safety. Most importantly, it was right size for Sun Hua alone. Week later, final payment contract completed. Sun Hua became owner of massive sum of 2.3 billion won. Even after deducting 400 million for new apartment, 1.9 billion remained. Following legal advisor's advice, Sun Hua joined housing pension with this money system, providing fixed monthly amount guaranteed for lifetime. "Now you can receive 3 million won monthly," bank employee explained. 3 million won monthly? Yes, for your entire lifetime. Sun Hua felt relief hearing this. Now she could live without anyone's financial help. When all procedures finished, Sun Hua handed old house keys to new owners. "Please take good care of house," Sun Hua said. "Yes, we'll live preciously," new owner couple replied. Leaving house, Sun Hua didn't look back. Instead, she walked looking only forward, toward new life. While moving belongings to new apartment, Sun Hua felt lightness, freed from weight that had pressed down for a long time. "Now you're truly free," Mal Soon said. "Yes, now I can live as I choose." But Sun Hua knew one task remained: informing Minho and Sun Mi. Day before Minho couple's return from trip approached, Sun Hua carefully composed message to send them. "Minho, Sun Mi. This house is result of lifelong sweat your father and I shed. I knew you planned to sell this house and steal my life foundation. So I sold it first. I'll protect my life by selling this house. What remains is only 5 million won I gave you. That's my final inheritance. Now I'll live my own life too." After writing message, Sun Hua pondered long time. Should she really send it? Family relationships might completely end? But eventually Sun Hua pressed send button. No turning back now. Next afternoon, Minho and Sun Mi returned home after pleasant trip. "Really good trip," Sun Mi said. "Yes, properly rested after long time." Minho looked happy too. But their expressions hardened instantly upon reaching house. Strange numbered lock hung on gate, and sale completed notice was attached to door. What's this? Minho panicked. Where did mother go? Sun Mi was confused too. Minho hurriedly called Sun Hua, but phone was off. Then message notification rang on Minho's phone. Sun Hua's pre-sent message. Minho's face paled reading message. What does it say? Sun Mi urgently asked. Minho dropped phone, strength gone from hands. Sun Mi picked up phone and read message. Her face gradually contorted while reading. What is this? Sun Mi screamed. Mother. Mother sold the house, Minho muttered. Your mother betrayed us. Sun Mi exploded in anger. Betrayal. Then what? Secretly selling house while we're traveling isn't betrayal? Sun Mi's voice grew louder, drawing neighbors' attention. Let's calm down first. Calm down? How can I calm down when our house disappeared? Minho tried calling Sun Hua again, but it remained off. Mother's contact doesn't work. Don't even know where she went. You should have stopped her properly. Sun Mi blamed Minho. How could I stop what? When mother seemed strange, you should have taken her to hospital. I didn't know then. Their argument grew more intense. It's all because of your mother. Sun Mi shouted. Why blame my mom? Then who should I blame? Who caused this situation? Minho had nothing to say. Just days ago they thought they'd become that house's owners, now it became someone else's house they couldn't even enter. What do we do now? Minho said desperately. You handle it. Your mother caused this mess. Sun Mi dragged travel bag from car and left. Where are you going? Minho called. Going to my parents' house to think. Don't contact me for a while. After Sun Mi left, Minho stood alone before house. Nowhere to go. Neighbor lady came out and said, Minho, your mother moved 3 days ago. Do you know where? Well, she didn't say where she went. Minho collapsed. Mother unreachable, wife gone, house disappeared. Everything crumbled in instant. That night Minho slept in motel. Continuously calling Sun Hua but phone remained off. Next day, he went to real estate office to inquire. Yes, contract completed 3 days ago, manager Kim confirmed. What was the sale amount? 2.3 billion won. Minho despaired more hearing that amount. The huge sum of 2.3 billion won became money completely unrelated to them. Can't you tell me where she moved? Sorry, but it's personal information. Eventually Minho obtained no information. Days passed but situation didn't improve. Sun Mi wouldn't leave her parents' house, Sun Hua remained unreachable. Minho stayed moving between friends' houses. Unable to concentrate at work, making repeated mistakes. Hey, what's wrong with you lately? Colleague worried. Just complicated family matters. What happened? Minho couldn't answer. How could he explain that his mother knew their plan and sold house first? Week later, Sun Mi called. Minho, let's meet. Where? At cafe. They met after long time, but atmosphere remained cold. I've been thinking, Sun Mi began. I don't think we can continue this marriage. Why suddenly say such? Not suddenly. Your mother deceived us and sold house, and you only take mother's side. I didn't take mom's side. Then what? Don't you think mother did wrong? Minho couldn't answer. Actually, he thought mother went too far, but couldn't resent her either. All our plans fell through. Can't buy new house, can't prepare Junho's education expenses. Let's find other way. What other way? Your salary has limits. Sun Mi's words were realistic. All their plans had been premised on selling Sun Hua's house. Let's take time and think, Minho suggested. I've already thought everything through. Let's divorce. Sun Mi's words were firm. What about Junho? I'll raise Junho. You go find your mother. After that day, they began divorce proceedings. Meanwhile, Sun Hua settled in new apartment, lived peaceful daily life. Housing pension provided sufficient monthly income, and she could live freely without watching anyone's face. Sometimes she worried about Minho and Junho, but didn't regret her choice. You did well, Sunhwa, Mal soon said, visiting. Yes, now I feel like I'm living my own life. A month had passed since Minho lost his home, but his situation hadn't improved. After staying at various friends' places, he had no choice but to rent a semi-basement room. 5 million won deposit, 500,000 won monthly rent. He never imagined Sunhwa's travel money would be used this way. Dad, is this our new home? Junho asked, looking around the damp semi-basement. Yes. We'll only live here temporarily. Minho couldn't hide his guilt toward his son. The semi-basement barely received sunlight, and water leaked in with even light rain. It was too poor an environment for a child. Minho's work life was also falling apart. Stress from family problems made it impossible to concentrate. Mistakes became frequent, and he couldn't deliver proper results on important projects. Minho, you seem really struggling lately. Are you okay? His supervisor asked with concern. I'm sorry. Personal matters have been distracting me. Still, work is work. Please pay more attention. But Minho's condition didn't improve. Resentment toward his mother, longing for his wife, and self-blame for his incompetence all worked together destructively. The decisive incident occurred a month later. A major mistake happened in the large project Minho was handling. He incorrectly conveyed a client meeting appointment, causing significant losses. Minho, please come to the office, the HR manager called. Minho already sensed what was coming. Due to this incident, the company can no longer continue working with you. Manager, please give me one more chance. We've already given you several chances. Looking at your work attitude these past months, we don't see possibility for recovery. Minho was eventually fired. His severance pay was minimal after compensating for recent losses. Returning home, Minho didn't know how to tell Junho. Dad, why did you come home early today? Well, Dad had to quit his job. Why? Because Dad wasn't good at work. Though young, Junho could sense the situation was serious. Dad's expression had been consistently dark lately. That night, Sunmi called. Minho, I heard. You quit your job. Who told you? Junho mentioned it on the phone. What will you do now? I'm looking for another job. Who will watch Junho meanwhile? How can you raise a child alone? Sunmi's voice contained more blame than concern. So, could you possibly watch Junho? I've been raising him alone all this time. Now you're asking. Please, just until I stabilize. After long consideration, Sunmi spoke. Fine, but there's a condition. What condition? Sign the divorce papers. Then I'll raise Junho. Minho had nothing to say. He'd actually been thinking divorce was inevitable. In his current situation, he lacked ability to protect his family. All right, thus Minho lost his son too. The day Junho left with his mother, the child asked his father one last time. Dad, why did Grandma leave us? Grandma had her own reasons. I miss Grandma. Minho hugged his child tightly. He missed his mother too, but lacked courage to contact her. Alone, Minho fell into deeper despair. Job searching proved difficult. He was older now, with poor recent work history. As months passed, Minho gradually crumbled. Drinking increased, appearance deteriorated. Most time was spent alone in the semi-basement, regretting the past. What did I do wrong? Why did mother have to go this far? But no matter how much he thought, no answers came. Meanwhile, Sunhwa lived a completely different life. Life in her new apartment was more satisfying than she'd imagined. Every morning at 7, opening the window brought fresh air and sunlight into the room. It was refreshment she'd never felt in her previous home. Another good day, Sunhwa smiled to herself. The monthly housing pension of 3 million won. was sufficient for living alone. After management fees and living expenses, she had enough left for things she'd always wanted to do. First, she started swimming. She registered for senior swimming classes at the apartment complex pool. Sunhwa, your freestyle has improved greatly, the instructor praised. Thank you. I worried about learning so late. Age is just a number. With determination, you can do anything. Through swimming, Sunhwa made new friends. Time spent exercising and chatting with similar-aged women was enjoyable. Second, she began traveling. She planned a Jeju Island trip with Malsoon. Sunhwa, are you really going on a trip? Malsoon was amazed. Yes, I never took a proper trip in my life. You couldn't because of family. Now I can do whatever I want. The Jeju trip was truly enjoyable. Climbing hills, viewing the ocean, eating delicious food during those 3 nights and 4 days felt dreamlike. Third, she started reading. She began reading books she'd wanted to read in youth but lacked time for. She borrowed books from the nearby library and ordered others online. She particularly enjoyed self-help books and travel essays. I never knew reading could be this enjoyable, Sunhwa told Malsoon. You've lived only for others until now. Right, now I'm finally spending time for myself. One afternoon, Sunhwa stood before the mirror, looking at herself. Though wrinkles remained, she could feel her expression had brightened. Now I'm finally living my own life. She whispered quietly to her reflection. I reclaimed the home I protected with my blood, so I'm not afraid. Sunhwa's eyes no longer held tears. Only smiles of freedom and relief remained.